Hello everyone, welcome back. This is video number 2 in what may become something of a regular event. And tonight I am talking about something called a bob. Now I'm not talking about style of haircuts or a sudden dipping of the knees in front of members of the royal family. And I'm not talking about something that some ladies may call a bob, but we will leave that for another time. Bob in the English language, which is trending at the moment, is a blackout box. So this is nicely leading on from my previous video on what to do and how to find out about power outages. Now the clue really with box is something that you put things in. And a blackout box is a box for you to use if there is a blackout. Well, that's a surprise. So, why do you need a bob? If we have power outages, it goes dark. Most of the equipment in your house will stop working. You will not be able to see where things are, and generally life becomes difficult, if not miserable. And if the outages continue for a long time, you can actually get cold, hungry and bored, and probably of other fewer feelings as well. So what do we want in Bob? Well, unsurprisingly, number one, I think for almost everybody, okay, is the torch. When the lights go out, what can you use to see with? It's a torch. This obviously is a hand torch you can take with you and move about the house. You may want to go for something a little bit more hands-free. Okay. Battery operated light, nice long string. You can have that hung from somewhere up above and not have to worry about having a torch in your hand at all times. You may wish to consider lanterns, so basically a torch in a box. And if you're really old school, you can still go with a box of candles, but there is definitely lots of health and safety warnings about using candles. And if you are going to use candles, you will need to add in your box either a lighter or a box of matches, because you will have to light them. You need to secure them in a suitable container, place them where they're not going to get knocked over and away from anything that could catch fire. They also can smoke and be a bit smelly as well. What else might we need? Well, both of the items I've just shown, you may need to replace the batteries. So a box of batteries. These are the AA size, which might be the ones that fit your little portable radio that I covered in the last video. Is there anything else you could possibly want? Well, yes. Okay, alongside the batteries, you might want a battery power pack. That could be to recharge your mobile phone or other electrical device. If you are wearing one of the heated jackets that you can buy now, they run on exactly those sorts of power supply. If you're, again, a little bit less tech minded, A couple of other things to hand that will be useful if it's cold. Your heating hasn't been on and it is -5 degrees outside. We have emergency space blankets, often seen in films of accidents and disasters, being wrapped around people to keep them warm. Again, if that's a little bit high-tech, a blanket. This one is of disposable sort, so if you get anything on it, you can just chuck it away. I would recommend something to tell you the time, because nothing else is going to until the power comes back on. And your radio may tell you that it's coming back on at such and such a time, but if you don't know what the time is, you don't know whether you're waiting 5 minutes or 5 hours. Okay. What else might be useful? Well, a notebook and a pen. Now, why? Because you might want to write down something. Now, it may be some information that you've heard from the radio. It might be that you want to keep a record of scores in the card game that you are going to play. Many people put in a pack of cards or some sort of game to while away the time when you can't use your devices or gain other entertainment. Some people, if they are really good survivalist, disaster prepared types, will start to add additional things, maybe camping stove to cook hot food with if you do not have a gas oven or a hob, ice packs to pack around your fridge and freezer to help keep the food cold inside of those while the power is off, and bottled water. Some parts of the country, water is actually pumped along using electric pumps, so when the pump doesn't work, you don't get any water coming out of the tap. Research and see what you can find out, and that may give you some ideas. That's all for tonight. Hope this gives you some interesting things to think about. If nothing else, what have you got that you can use as your B.O.B? Look forward to seeing you next time. And as ever, this is a public service announcement. Good night.